All right, so today, our Mindset Mondays will touch on habits. I do a lot of work with a lot of traders and in one-on-ones and in group settings and individual settings and coaching. And a lot of traders have habits and they cannot figure out how to break them. So we're going to talk about that today and give you a few tips to kind of break the barrier. Our discussion today is erasing poor trading habits. How do you do it once and for all? So again, I got to ask the question. Our Mindset Mondays before we get started is our weekly mental development. Now, it's typically in the private channel inside the Killer Whales, but from time to time, we'll do the Mindset Mondays inside the general channel, inside the Spy Only Options voice channel for everyone, so that everyone can get an understanding. And then later, this recording makes it to our podcast. But we don't know when we're going to post it. We post random ones, what have you. And so, and sometimes they never, the private conversations and the private development, sometimes they never make it to the podcast. They stay inside of the audio trainings channel inside the Killer Whales private group, and you have the access there. So do yourself a favor. Number one, subscribe to the Wealth Wells podcast. All right. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Spotify. You can get it on Apple as well, or wherever your podcast platform offers, wherever you go for your podcast platform. All right. Now, we're talking about habits. Now, I had a trader. What sparked this Mindset Monday is I had a trader talk to me and pose some challenges that I'm going to pose to you. Now, I'm going to repeat some of those challenges. And this trader doesn't mind that I say this or not. I'm not going to say their name, but we've all been there. So I'm not going to, by no means am I going to act like this hasn't happened to me. It has. All right. Has this ever happened to you? You start trading after maybe you've gotten some training inside the Discord or whatever the case is, and you're kind of moving and grooving here. And then you feel like you're making leaps and bounds. You feel like you're making some progress. And you 1 win, 2 win, 3 wins, 4 wins, 5 wins. All right, you're doing well. But then all of a sudden on one day, that old ugly habit, maybe you have struggled so long with poor entries, or maybe you have greed, or maybe you have fear, or maybe you have, you lack the ability to move your stop appropriately and you keep getting stopped out. Maybe you don't know how to read price action, whatever it is, this little habit that you keep doing every single day that you thought you were, doing well with and eliminating, it rears its ugly head and it wipes out your wins. And it sets you back maybe a few days. Has that ever happened to you? And you start again, you do it again. You start doing well 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And then all of a sudden, this ugly habit that you can't eliminate, it wipes out your wins. And then it happens again and again. Has that ever happened to you? Yeah. It has most certainly over my trading career. It has most certainly happened to me in the beginning, right? Where you can't really get any momentum. And then what's worse, you may look up and you're actually red for the month or for the week when you thought you were green. Has that ever happened to you? Where you like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back? Has it ever happened to you? All right. So we're going to talk about what you need to do to erase these poor trading habits so that you can continuously move forward. Now, the first thing you need to understand is you've got to be realistic. You have to be realistic with yourself, with your trading abilities. Now, what do we mean? Well, it's not just understanding that trading can be a challenge and is a challenge. It's not just understanding that trading is the most complex thing in the financial world, and for that matter, the business world. And it's not just understanding that, this very difficult thing of day trading that most people fail. It's not just that. It's understanding that it will take you time to break something that you have built and developed for years. Now, what am I talking about? Well, those habits that you have, they were sitting there and they manifested themselves in other areas of your life. Now, the Mindset Mondays, it's designed to help you develop the skill and the mental development for day trading. So we're going to touch on this, the mental development for a little bit. What you have been doing in your life up until this time, before you met the Wealth Wells, before you met KD, before you came into this Discord, before you listened to this podcast, whatever you've been doing in your life has been working for you one way or the other. Even if you are quote unquote a loser, people call, certain ones who aren't really doing things, or trying to, progress in life. That you may feel like a loser, or you may feel like someone who's just beat up. Wherever you are in your life, what you've been doing, your habits, it's gotten you to that point. You see, our success that we have, that you've accomplished in life, it's just an accumulation of the decisions that you've made based on the habits and disciplines that you formed. So, for example, if a person wants to get better in life, they simply need to have a winning system and routine, be in the right vertical or industry, and execute over and over and over and over again. And then they'll rack up success. It's just that simple. All those things have to align. But if they haven't developed the proper habits, then they're not going to get anywhere. So we could say, what's a habit that you would call, we'll take a child or a teenager as an example. What are some habits, if you have, for those of you guys who have teenagers, what are some habits that you noticed about your teenagers that in your mind say, they're going to be okay? That's a good teenager, or they've got it. They're figuring it out. What's some things that come to mind? Well, when I was growing up, one habit was making the bed every day, right? Making the bed every day. It's a basic habit. It's a simple habit, and many people overlook it. Another habit, cleaning up your room every day or weekly. It's a habit. Another habit, getting up on time. Another habit, right? Other habits could be, the ability to keep yourself well arranged, or it could be schoolwork, or it could be, doing what you promised to do, or whatever it is for a child. All of those things, those little habits, they equal a disposition. They equal a view of that child in our eyes, doesn't it? Well, the same is true when it comes to life as an adult and your trading career. There's a series of little habits that you have developed in other areas of your life that are simply manifesting themselves in day trading. They're just coming out. So if you were someone who rushed through things, you never sat down and took the time, you developed a habit of rushing through data, rushing through your work, rushing through things just so that you can get to the ease. That's a habit. It's going to come out in the market. So a lot of times when you keep taking these, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, you keep having these type of days in the market, at the core, it's really because these old habits that have been with you for these years, they're simply manifesting themselves in different ways as it pertains to the market. It can be anything that is, been with you for some time or hampering you. It's just coming out. So the question is, like, how do you start erasing these things? Well, we need to be realistic. You have to understand that it took you some time to get there. So it's going to take you some time to erase those habits. All right. Don't be in a rush or be so disappointed when you can't, erase those habits. For example, I see some traders wanting to give up, right? They think that this thing of day trading is something that they can will themselves through, right? Just their sheer will, because they want it so bad, they're going to figure it out. It doesn't work that way. I say this many times, that the market only rewards the patient and prepared. So the first thing you're going to have to do is take your time and understand that you developed those habits over time. Okay. And it's going to take you time to eliminate the habit. All right. Now, the next thing that you need to do and remember is that there's an age old phrase, and it says that repetition is the mother of retention. Have you ever heard that? Repetition is the mother of retention. All right. Well, the idea here is the more you do something, the more you retain the information. And that's true when it comes to forming better habits, erasing poor habits. You have to replace a poor habit with a positive habit. Replace a poor habit with a positive habit. And you have to repeat that behavior over and over. Now, how do we replace a poor habit with a positive habit? All right. You're going to have to do some self-examination and be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself and know it's going to take some time and it's going to be a little uncomfortable in the beginning. But for example, if you notice that you are rushing into trades, all right, this is an example. And oftentimes you see a move, you get into the trade, and then the trade goes quickly against you. That is a poor entry, and that is evidence of someone rushing into the trade. Instead of perhaps waiting on the retracement or waiting on confirmation, you rush in. Now, do you have a problem of rushing into trades? Do you have to sit through significant drawdown where it works itself out sometimes? Sometimes it doesn't work itself out. If that's you, listen up. What is at the core of someone who rushes into trades? Well, it may be someone who is the type of person who doesn't enjoy waiting, who's impatient, who doesn't enjoy analyzing, who doesn't enjoy, the data, who doesn't love the process of becoming great, right? They have a problem, yes, with FOMO, right? So if you keep rushing into trades, the reflection and the thought, man, I gotta stop, I gotta stop, I gotta stop. That's not gonna help you. That's not gonna help you. Endlessly analyzing and talking about what went wrong and why you keep doing it. Did you know that very rarely motivates a person to get better? It's not the dialogue that make people better. It's not the conversation that gets a person to do it. It's self-awareness followed by disciplined action. Self-awareness followed by disciplined action. So the first thing is you understand what the problem is. Now you have to be self-aware. Okay, I keep rushing into trades. Why am I rushing into trades? Are you impatient? Have you rushed into things before in your life? Do you have a pattern of rushing into things? Are you known for someone who's patient? Are you known for someone who kind of takes their time and lets things kind of stew and cook until you can really work it out? If that's the case, then the result will be you'll keep rushing until you identify the type of person you are and then formulate a plan. So one thing that you can do if you keep rushing into trades, one thing, and you notice that you're impatient, one thing you can do is set a trade count and a trade frequency. So what does it mean? The trade count can be a certain time period before and in between your trades. Have you ever thought about that? Having a trade count, meaning you would wait until you get into another trade in between trades. Waiting until you enter your next trade significantly improves patience. Significantly improves patience. And what it does is it helps you read the market and just really chill and relax. And then having a certain trade frequency, meaning you can only have so many trades per day or per session. That's going to help you drastically to eliminate this poor habit of being impatient, which is manifesting itself by rushing into trades. That's going to help you. Now, if you don't have that written down, we use the 90-day day trading journal. You can come into the Discord or click the link somewhere in the videos, whatever, you'll find it. But if you don't have these metrics written down, again, you are going to endlessly analyze and discuss what's going wrong. What's going wrong? Yeah, I keep doing it. I keep doing it. Okay, but now have some self-awareness, formulate a plan. Understand what's at the core of this behavior trait. Give yourself time and you will eliminate it ultimately. All right. You gotta have something in place where you give yourself some real talk and then it immediately follows with action. Let's take another habit that you may have and it keeps costing you. How about this one? How about you keep getting stopped out? Has that ever happened to you? You keep getting stopped out. All right. So let's analyze it then. What is at the root cause of someone who keeps getting stopped out? All right. Could it be fear? Could it be you're so nervous to lose money that your stop is so tight you don't allow the trade to work itself out, or as the phrase goes, you don't allow the trade to breathe? Is that possible? Now, let's get to the root of that. What are you so afraid of? Now, a couple of things could be the case. Maybe your position size is just too large. Maybe the amount of money that you're risking is too big for your britches. It's just too much and you need to scale down. Maybe in your childhood, you lost a lot. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting a little deeper here. Because remember, we talked about these patterns have manifested themselves earlier in your life, and they're simply coming out and really demonstrating themselves in your trading behavior. But a lot of times, the people who haven't had a lot in life, and quite frankly, my hand is up too. That's all of us at one point, right? You guys know my story, right? Didn't grow up with a lot. A lot of times, you want to hold on so tight to what you have. And so, has this ever happened to you? As soon as that trade goes into profit, I mean, a little bit, you're itching to move your stop up or take profit. You're quick to take profit, but you're not so quick to cut your losers. Come on, tell the truth. Tell the truth. And that's how your losers get away from you. Come on, come on now. You know it. It's just us kicking it. Nobody's watching you. All right. So you can tell the truth. That has happened to me too. You let your losers run and you cut your winners short. What's at the root cause of that? The same thing of the person who keeps getting stopped out. It's fear. And we go all the way back to your childhood. Maybe you were afraid of losing what you had because you didn't have anything. So what will help? All right, that's the habit. How about we replace that habit with a good habit or a better behavior? What behavior can we use now to replace that poor habit? Well, again, we can start some frequency or trade count or some type of behavior that's going to improve our holds. So the first thing I would do is I would set parameters on all trades. Now, those parameters could be level, right? Meaning, hey, if I don't see X, Y, and Z, I cannot enter a trade, right? It would center around volume, a checklist, right? To help you gauge whether or not you should be in this trade. But have you thought about this? Have you thought about having a checklist to tell you whether you should stay in a trade? Now we're talking. Now, what will that do for you? Having a checklist ready, visible, right there with you after you enter a trade that tells you whether or not to stay in a trade will help you execute better trades. The checklist could be, hey, once volume drops beneath this threshold, I'm out. Once I retest my level here, I'm out. If I don't see supporting, market indicators, I'm out. If I don't see the proper volatility, I'm out. If I notice VIX or whatever else is going this way or that way, I'm out. Whatever the case is. Have you ever thought about a trade, time in trade, TIT? I talk about that a lot. There's two metrics that I help traders govern that nobody really talks about that matters. It's T2T and TIT. Time to target, time in trade. Have you thought to yourself of analyzing your past trades and seeing what the average time is that you are in your trades before they get into profit? You'll be surprised if you come up with that data. You'll know that, man, typically I'm in profit within 3 to 6 minutes and I'm out of my trades within 10 minutes. Or typically I'm in profit within 3 minutes and I'm out of my trades in 15 minutes. It is critical that you understand that data because it's going to help you when a bad habit arises and you need to stamp or cut it down. So that's what I would help you. Well, that's what I would tell you. The parameters should be a checklist, and that checklist should have some markers or some data points there to say, all right, I'm now in my trade. Now take a look at my guidelines. You should never get in a trade without answering the most important question right before and while you're in a trade. Do you know what that question is? What is the number one question you should be asking yourself right before and while you're in a trade? Come on. I know you know it. I know you know it. Where are we going? Yes. Well, after you're in a trade, you don't blindly get in the trade, just say, yep, we're going there. Now, it's true after you trade with KD, myself, and the Wealth Wells, it may seem uncanny to you at first. It may seem like I get many people. How does he know where we're going every time? They ask me that all. They want the secret sauce. They want to take the training, and I get it. That comes from a disciplined approach. I have a checklist and an experience. But we never get into a trade and just blindly let the trade kind of roll. No, 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 no. We are going to have metrics in place, checklists in place as the trade rolls. Why? Because we want to make sure that those old ugly habits of getting stopped out doesn't come back around. All right. So that's two examples of what you would do to really crush old habits. You're going to have to replace them with positive habits. Replace them with something that can help you eventually eliminate them. So in some cases, it's going to be a checklist. In other cases, it's just going to be straight parameters and markers that you just say, you know what? This has to happen this way. I've got to see these things in the market. Otherwise, I don't go. So remember, take your time. It took time for you to develop those poor habits. Remember, these habits aren't market related. They are related to life. They're related to your upbringing. They're related to just who you are as a person. So make sure you do a SWOT or a self-awareness test and you understand who you are. Repetition is the mother of retention. You want to replace the poor habits and behaviors with a positive one. And then we gave two examples, rushing into a trade and then someone who keeps getting stopped out. And then we said, analyze yourself and analyze the habit and what's really at the core. You keep rushing into a trade because, well, you're impatient. And then we put a system together to govern that. And then we discussed getting stopped out. Well, that one goes a little bit deeper. Likely you keep getting stopped out because at the core, it's fear and trade management. And maybe you just didn't have a lot when you're growing up. And so you have to put in some parameters and a checklist in place so that you can stretch that trade to the max while protecting yourself as you go through your trades throughout the day. So just a quick little chat here for our Mindset Mondays. Erasing poor trading habits. How do you do it? I gave you two examples. Now, this conversation could go on for hours. We can't go through every single poor trading habit, but the solution is the same. Now, there was a Mindset Mondays we did some time ago. I encourage you to go back and listen to this Mindset Mondays. And the Mindset Mondays was entitled Peace, Grace, and Accountability. We had one of our moderators on with us, LSG. And boy, that Mindset Monday helped a lot of people. We still get messages today about how that helped them and continues to help them. Just really giving yourself a little bit of grace, understanding this takes a little time, but you do need to have some accountability. You've got to put parameters in place. And then, of course, there were some other mindset Mondays that we developed. The mindset of a skilled trader, where we had Grant on that one. And then how to become the comeback queen, king or queen, where Tweeby was there. And then the Sunny and Chip had an excellent one as well. And so many good ones. And then, of course, our really deeper, where we talked about some recommendations for books and things to develop the mind, where Fluff was on with us. And then, of course, one that I really like, I think you should think about this one and really go back and look it up. It's a back pocket knowledge, and it's entitled Thinking Fast versus Thinking Slow. Go look at that. Thinking fast, or rather listen to it, versus thinking slow. It's just a back pocket knowledge. But these habits, they take time. They take time to develop. They take years to develop, some decades. You are not going to eliminate them in one day or 1 year. It takes time. And you're certainly not going to get them out without a plan of action and a checklist in place. Remember this, and I say it frequently. There's two things I want to leave you with. The first one, fall in love with the process of becoming great, and you'll never be average. What does that mean? Enjoy the work it takes to get better, and you will be better than other people in the market. And then the second, if you show up, you'll go up. Show up every day, disciplined, prepared with your checklist and everything developed and ready to go. And you'll watch your skills and your bank account go up. Remember, endlessly analyzing and just talking about these habits. Man, this keeps happening. It provides little inspiration for change. It will not help you. You can be as smart as you want. You can be as intellectual as you want. It's not going to help you just talking about it. You have to follow it with a plan of action, and you have to follow that action with consistent repetition. This is our Mindset Mondays, erasing poor trading habits. How? I've given you a few tips. Now let's go to work. KD signing out.